Your affordable city is lying to you. If the cheapest legal option starts at a $1,800 one-bedroom, it's not affordable. It's just missing the bottom rung. We erased it. Today, I'll show you how cities across Texas and North Carolina saw homelessness rise, not because people changed, but because we literally banned the $100 to $300 rooms that used to exist, single-room occupancies. If those SROs had grown with the rest of housing since 1960, we'd have roughly 2.5 million more ultra-cheap spots, enough to house multiple times the current homeless count. Want to know who killed them and how states are quietly bringing them back? You've heard the line, Texas is cheap. Cool slogan. Then why did we erase the only thing cheaper than a studio? The lockable room that cost less than a gym membership? Here's the thing, single-room occupancies were simple. You got a private room with a door and a key. You shared a bathroom at the end of the hall and a kitchen downstairs. You rented month to month. No 12-month trap, no granite vanity surcharge. And the kicker? In today's dollars, we're talking roughly $100 to $300 a month.
The majority of Americans don't make enough money to cover some of the basic costs of living, like healthcare and rent.
The key takeaways, you might say, are three. Number one, 60% of Americans and less fortunate.
That's prepaid phone plan money. That's 2 concert tickets and a burrito. It was the floor. You could land there, stack cash, and move up when you were ready. But here's what nobody tells you. Cities slapped the blight label on them and rewrote the rulebook. Zoning pushed them off commercial streets. Codes banned shared kitchens and demanded bigger units. Owners got nudged to convert to tourist hotels, then to luxury light studios with in-unit washers that break on day 2. The brand of affordability stuck around, but the cheapest legal unit vanished. We kept the marketing. We deleted the product. Rewind to the late 1800s through mid-1900s. SROs grew with industrial cities. By around 1950, they made up a serious chunk of rentals, approaching a tenth in some places. They were the on-ramp. New arrivals got a room near the docks or the rail yard. Seasonal workers wintered cheap. Seniors on fixed income stayed close to services. You didn't need a co-signer. You needed first week's rent and a lock. Then we hit the pivot decades. From the 1950s through the 1970s, cities layered on minimum unit sizes that killed tiny rooms. They banned shared facilities that made them affordable in the first place. And they piled on parking mandates that forced each room to carry the cost of a car space, even when the tenant didn't own a car. The math collapsed, financing followed, and the buildings either died or got reincarnated as something pricier. Removing SROs is like banning used cars and then acting shocked when fewer people can drive. You didn't make new Hondas cheaper. You just took away the beaters that actually moved people. Here's the research-backed punch. Homelessness tracks with rent levels and vacancy rates. When the bottom tier, sub $500 in today's money, disappears, the bottom 30% gets thrown into a cage match for units they can't afford. The line between barely housed and not housed gets razor thin. Add low vacancy, and the whole system spits people out. You want a live example? Look at cities that gutted their SRO stock. In New York City, whole corridors of rooming houses shifted into hotels and micro-tourist suites. In San Francisco, SRO conversions rolled alongside bans on new shared facility buildings. The blueprint spread, copy-paste code logic across the map, so the legal tools stayed in place even where the markets weren't as hot. The dominoes fell without a chase scene, just dry ordinance text. Now the mini payoff you're not ready for. If SROs had simply grown in step with total housing since 1960,
It's called the affordability gap. For tonight's interview, we're joined by Gene Ludwig.
Can't meet a minimum quality of life standards. So 60% of Americans can't afford a minimum quality of life, point one.
we'd be sitting on around 2.5 million more low-cost rooms. That's several times the current homeless count. Let that sink in. We didn't lose some quirky housing type. We nuked the emergency exit and then started lecturing people about personal responsibility. So why are affordable states bleeding affordability? Because the label hides the missing rungs. Median rent can look friendly while the entry-level unit is still out of reach. Let's look at Texas and North Carolina and see how the floor got raised, the vacancy got squeezed, and the street told the truth. If rents are lower in Texas and North Carolina, why are tents showing up under overpasses that used to be just shade for parked trucks? You're not ready for the catch. Here's the thing. The ads brag about median rent, That number makes a chart look friendly. But the unit you can actually lease when you move with a suitcase? It's a $1,500 to $1,800 one bedroom. You're hit with a month's rent, a deposit that's basically another month, an admin fee, a valet trash fee, and a parking bill whether or not you own a car. The math flips fast. What looked cheap on a website becomes $2,000 up front to get keys to an apartment you don't need that much space in. Now add the squeeze. Vacancy tightens in the metros where the jobs land. Supply lags because approvals take time. Financing got weird, and builders chase bigger units. The micro tier, the simple room with a shared kitchen, is either illegal or built in tiny numbers. Workers at 30 to 50% of area median income get pushed up market with everyone else. Result? Encampments in places people swore would never have them. Sunbelt cities start to look like the coast they made fun of. Houston proves a point. The city lets builders build. Fewer zoning choke points means more apartments, faster. Overall rents run cooler than peer metros. Homelessness runs lower than you'd expect for a city that size. Supply matters, but even there, the true bottom rung room is rare. You can find a deal if you know a landlord or a converted garage, but the legal product that undercuts a studio by half? Mostly gone. Dallas and Raleigh tell the contrast. In pockets where zoning reforms actually shaved time and let more units stack on a lot, rent growth cooled off relative to hot neighbors. Where projects stalled or councils slow-walked approvals, rents climbed faster and unsheltered counts crept up despite decent outreach and services. Austin is the poster child. Huge in-migration, delayed pipelines, visible street homelessness rising while new luxury light stock opened with pet spas and key fob drama. Let's bring receipts without turning this into a lecture. When average rent jumps by $100, street homelessness tends to rise by something like 9%. When vacancy rates drop, more people fall out of the bottom. When you add supply, you blunt both. That's the feedback loop. It's not vibes. It's a line on a chart that keeps repeating across markets. Then there's the tourist pull. Short-term rentals skim a slice of the small unit stock and turn it into mini hotels. Older buildings that could be low-cost housing drift toward nightly rates because the rules make that easier than operating long-term micro units. You keep SRO-style housing illegal, you encourage the conversion pressure. It's like locking the pantry and then wondering why everyone's ordering takeout. Here's the twist you didn't see coming from cheap states. Some of them are reversing course. Washington now forces cities to allow SRO-like buildings anywhere you can put multifamily. Oregon opens the door for true micro units on residential land. Hawaii streamlines commercial to residential so empty offices can turn into small rooms with shared kitchens. Montana adds co-living as a first-class citizen in its housing code. That's the playbook. Legalize the format. Let builders hit a lower price point without waiting on giant subsidies.